Welcome to the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce.
The Falmouth Chamber is dedicated to working on behalf of our members to make Falmouth a better place to live, work, and conduct business. We are committed to developing the economic, cultural, educational, and civic interests of our community and welcome the support from all organizations to achieve our combined goals. Whether you call Falmouth home, are a summer resident, or a visitor, we hope you take advantage of all that the Chamber has to offer.
Whole thing goes with you.
I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Falmouth Select Board. It is Monday, April 10th, 2023. It is 6:30 p.m. and I would ask that you join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll go right to business and discuss vote motions and reports to special town meeting and annual town meeting as needed. Mr. Johnson-Stott?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We actually have a somewhat full agenda for a town meeting pre-meeting. So first, I would like to ask that the Select Board consider a motion to authorize the Chair to move amendments to the budget. These are well-known issues that we've talked about. So the first amendment is to amend line 9 of the Select Board Town Manager budget to $696,246,000. That is to reinstate the salary for the Sustainability Coordinator position. The second is to move to amend line 175 under the DPW Parks budget to $1,118,027 to reinstate the Assistant Park Superintendent position. And then there is a second set of motions under Article 4, but if you want to take those two first, and then we'll proceed to the next ones.
Certainly.
I move approval of those motions.
A second, Scott Price's motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve. Any more discussion amongst the board?
Nope.
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye. Does it have to be roll call?
No.
No, good.
The next is also another set of amendments for the Article 4 budget, and these relate to page 36 in your town meeting warrant book. They're not appropriations, they are funding sources, they're transfers from available funds. And it was brought to my attention some of those were not updated to match the corresponding debt service amounts. So we want to make sure that, that those are consistent. What we have done is, and you'll see in your in the packet, in the memo that I prepared for you, we have 6 line items that we are seeking to update. And what we did with the last item for the sewer transfer is to increase that because we do have flexibility for that particular account, so that the total for available funds remains unchanged. So the amendments are, and I'll just go through them. For the for line item D, that's the Title V program for debt service, we are amending from $20,000 to $15,000. For line item E, transfer from energy receipts reserved for appropriation for debt service, amending from $314,269 to $300,125. For line item F, transfer from road betterment account for debt service, amend from $112,757 to $109,456. For transfer from golf special revenue fund for debt service, amend from $670,000 to $613,682. I will just note on that particular one, the allocation that I was planning on there was in part to offset capital spending that we do every year, $50,000 a year, but that appropriation doesn't come until November, so we'll address the rest of that with a motion in November. And then the last line item is line item J. Sorry, not the last item. J is transfer from waterways receipt for reserve for appropriation for debt service, amend from $128,341 to $117,913, and then finally transfer from receipts reserved sewer from $50,000 to $139,191, and again the subtotal of those available funds remains unchanged.
So when you, let me just, because when I went through this and looked at this afternoon, and I think I understand what you're saying, even though you've added and subtracted from some, it doesn't change your bottom line.
Correct.
You've just moved it around.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Happy to take any questions.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved as described by the acting town manager.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next item I wanted to address does not require any action for the board, but just want to make you aware that for Article 28, that is the article to fund an evaluation of the Ashumet and Fresh Pond well treatment locations. We are asking the Finance Committee to indefinitely postpone that article. And the reason is that there's been an ongoing dialogue between the members, staff members in the Water Department and representatives of the U.S. Air Force with respect to this cleanup. The Air Force remains committed to funding most of the costs associated with bringing these wells back online following contamination caused by the base. However, it appears unlikely the Air Force will fund much or any of this particular phase of the project. And where the town meeting article, in the article itself, not even just the recommendation, as was written, it said that the funds would not be used unless there was a written agreement with the Air Force that they would reimburse the whole cost. And where it appears that that's not going to happen. A, we don't want to change midstream what we told town meeting was going to happen with that, and B, we don't necessarily want to tie up $300,000 in free cash for this. So we want to take some time to pursue other funding opportunities, see what we can negotiate with the Air Force, and bring it back in November.
So has negotiations broken off with the Air Force totally about
No,
that?
they're ongoing, so we don't have a final answer from them yet, but it's...
So the door's not shut on it?
Correct.
Correct. Thank you.
We may look at, for example, we may look at using ARPA funds, so I may be back for the board with another way to fund that project. Article 32 does require action on the board if you are willing to entertain it, and that is the article to amend the flow neutral bylaw. And this is another example of staff engaged in dialogue, this time with the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection. This has been a dialogue that's been going on since before January, I believe. And the whole purpose of this article has been to modify our bylaw to meet the requirements of the DEP so that we qualify for zero interest loans for our wastewater projects. And it has always been all about satisfying the DEP folks that the town's bylaw meets the requirements for that 0% loan. And they just recently came back with a final set of revisions to the proposed revisions to the bylaw. So there's going to be a new main motion that Amy would like for the select board to move, and she will obviously explain it. It is in your packet.
And it's been given out, or will be given out?
It has been emailed out to all town meeting members.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a slide on that?
Yes,
I
we
believe.
will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just because I know that's how it's written. Thank you.
Yeah. So if we could have a motion to authorize the chair to move a new main motion for Article 32 as presented by the wastewater superintendent.
I'll move that.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion amongst the board? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to the next item, vote a date for the November annual town meeting. We've looked at the Veterans Day holiday, conferred with the town moderator, and recommending Monday, November 13th as the start date for the fall town meeting. And so that should...
I'll entertain a motion.
Again, I'll move that.
Just to set the date?
Okay, yes.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion amongst the board? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we will...
Last item is unrelated to town meeting, or maybe it's not the last item, the next item. Acting as trustees of the Falmouth Affordable Housing Fund.
This is good news. Yeah, this is good news.
Yeah, I'd say.
Go
That
ahead,
doesn't
Mr.
happen very
Johnson,
often.
stop, sorry.
No problem.
Really good news.
So the Falmouth Housing Corp is asking for a reduction in the subsidy for the Scranton, Maine age-restricted housing project.
Are you nuts?
I think you did write in where you got additional funds.
We did.
Yeah.
Cape
In that
Lake
letter.
Compact
Yes.
came in with a very large number, and so would rather spend their money than the town's money,
Good idea.
right?
Love it.
For the save it for the next one.
Exactly.
So there are two things that we are looking to do with a vote tonight. One is to reduce the dollar amount, and the second is to make a change to the entity receiving these funds. It remains the project of the Falmouth Housing Corp, but in order to finance this project with low-income housing tax credits, they needed to establish a for-profit LLC to be the entity that takes on the development and receives those tax credits, which is a huge component of the financing for this project. So we need a motion to, and we have a specific motion in your packet here. Let's see.
I was just looking for it.
Are we giving that
You
motion to
have it?
Sam, because,
We're gonna let Sam do the
yeah,
motion?
Sam.
Well, I've got to find it.
I got it pulled up if you want.
All right, Mike.
Here you go.
Thank you. This is a little higher print, so. Are you ready? I move the board acting as trustees of the Falmouth Affordable Housing Fund previously voted to grant $4,800,000 to the Falmouth Housing Corp for the Scranton and Maine project. Falmouth Housing Corp has advised they will only need $3,785,000 of said award. I move we now award the requested decrease amount of $3,785,000 to the Falmouth Housing Corporation.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion amongst the board?
Yes, Madam Chair, if I could just explain, we need two separate motions, so this is the first of two.
So this is just for the
Yep.
money, and then the LLC comes next. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion amongst the board? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
You want the second motion? I'll just read it. I move that the board, acting as trustees of the Falmouth Affordable Housing Fund, previously granted an award to the Falmouth Housing Corporation. Since then, Falmouth Housing Corporation has created a limited liability company for the Scranton and Maine project, Scranton Maine LLC. I move we now grant the award in the amount of $3,785,000 to the newly created entity, Scranton Maine LLC.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion amongst the board? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Well
Great
done.
work. Thanks, Linda.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
Thank
all
you.
of our supporters.
Kim has lined this up so that we can wire the funds on Thursday, which is time sensitive and needed for the project financing.
Perfect,
Good.
perfect.
So I really,
Thank you.
this was a lot
That's
of work
huge.
by Kim. I want to
Thank you.
recognize.
Thank you, everybody.
Team effort. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Good, thanks. That's a lot of hard work.
That was a very efficient meeting. There may be other business. I don't know.
Other business?
Should we talk about the 9 o'clock meeting? You just said we are gonna meet here at 9 or whatever time.
We are
we're
meeting here
after
at 9
9.
o'clock in this room.
So the town moderator is going to call an adjournment, presumably very close to 9 o'clock. And if the adjournment is after 9 o'clock, I don't think that's a cause for alarm. We cannot hold the meeting before 9 o'clock. We can hold the meeting after 9 o'clock. And I think everyone is aware the purpose of that meeting is to see what the outcome of the override vote was, so that the board can vote to place a ballot question on the May 16th election ballot that matches whatever town meeting does. Whether it's, if there's no override, then there won't be an override. But if there is an override, we'll make sure to have the dollar amount align with what town meeting is voted.
Do we have to make that announcement at 9 o'clock?
It's really two separate actions. So town meeting is going to...
No, I mean that we're going into
Did we
to
post it
close
as
the
a
loop
separate?
on
did
the
we-
advertisement part
Yeah,
of
did
it.
we posted as a separate meeting.
It was posted as a separate meeting, so I don't think legally you need to make an announcement.
Good.
Not to say you couldn't.
Just two quick, easy things. One is, and I should have said it when we were talking about acting as trustees of the Falmouth Affordable Housing, I did file a disclosure in the town clerk's office today, the 23B3 form, just in case there's any questions. And then the second piece is the select board provided the cookies for tonight.
That's right, we did.
We did.
Is that some kind of I mean, you really did?
We did.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yes. We thought
There
people
was
were
some
going
kind
to
of
need
code word
something. No, cookies means cookies.
Oh, good.
Where are said cookies being stored?
There is no code word. Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Falmouth Select Board. It is Monday, April 10th, 2023. It is now 9:32. We will go right to business, and we need to consider placing Proposition 2.5 override on the May 16th, 2023 election ballot. Do you have a different motion?
There is a specific, it's not a different motion, but there is a
Okay.
specific motion that
there
we
it is.
have here. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to have someone else read the motion.
This one right here. Article D amendment, is that what we're talking about here? Good. Madam Chair, I move that the Select Board vote to place the following Proposition 2.5 override question on the election ballot of May 16, 2023.
And if you could then read it.
Shall the town of Falmouth be allowed to assess the additional $950,000 real estate and personal property taxes for the purpose of funding wages, benefits, and expenses associated with hiring 14 firefighters for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion amongst the board? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.